Breathe. I am Laurie Bates and I am with Create Better Health SNAP Ed program, and we're affiliated with USU Extension. Our lessons that we do are off of USDA recommendations. Today will probably be one of the last videos that I get to do for a while due to us being back in our classes. I know you'll enjoy this recipe that we have for you and our lesson. You know, many people have a sweet tooth, me included, and eating healthy does not have to mean never having sweets or things that taste yummy to our palates. But cutting out a little bit of the refined sugar and adding more nutrients to our diet by eating more fruits is helpful, and we still get that sweet flavor that we're craving. So then our sweet tooth is satisfied, right? All right, well today we're going to increase your fruit intake just that much more with this lovely recipe of carrot pineapple cake. And I love carrot cake, but the problem with it sometimes is that we put way too much frosting on the top, especially those at the store. I mean, it's like way, way high. Don't you think? At least I think so. And I usually have to scrape off 3/4 of it because it's just way too much. All right, so today I'm going to start with 4 large eggs and 1.5 cups of packed brown sugar. And I put those all in a bowl. And then I'm going to add our 1/3 cup of oil. You can use whatever oil you have handy. That works out just fine. So that's 1/3 cup. And then we're going to take our mixer and we're going to beat that together. Here we go, got some height to it so you can see just a little bit better. All right, so then we're going to take our mixer. You can do it in a stand mixer or a hand mixer, anything you would like. Start out low and then go ahead and when it gets a little combined, go ahead and bump it up to a high speed. All right, and then we put in the blender some northern white beans to help cut down on the oil that we would add to this. So we're going to use 1/3 cup, which is the equal amounts of oil to beans. So if you were going to do a 1/2 cup of oil, you would do a 1/2 cup of beans. So it's just equal. Okay? Then we've pureed that into like a paste. And this is going to add some protein to our cake along with the walnuts that will be in there. I'll make a mess here. All right, and then we're just going to fold that right in and get that all mixed together, just like that. All right, then we're going to go ahead and do carrots, 2 cans of sliced or diced carrots, drained, okay? And then go ahead and put them in your blender. Okay. And we'll get that mixed up. Might need a bigger bowl. I think we will. So just kind of whip that around until it's as blended as you think that you'd like it. Until your batter is kind of an orangey color. You probably have heard of people using baby food in their carrot cake, but this works just as good and it's cheaper, especially if you get the carrots that are on sale. What that looks like. It's just kind of a loose batter at this point. And then let's go ahead and put in our dried ingredients in another bowl. We've got 1 cup of all-purpose flour and 1 cup of a white whole wheat flour. And you can use half and half of whatever you would like, or whatever you have on hand. That always is nice to use your stuff that you already have on hand so that you don't have to go back to the store. Alright, so 1 teaspoon of salt. And then we're going to go ahead and do 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Don't you just love that little lip right here that will help scrape that nice and flat? That's always, I wish they would do a better thing with the baking soda. They just haven't done it yet. They did do a better cornstarch box, so hopefully they will do the same for baking soda. That would be nice. Alright, so we'll get all that in, and then we're just going to take our whisk and we're just going to whisk that all together just so it's nice and combined. So when we put it into our batter, it will be an even addition to the batter, and it will get all of these ingredients throughout the batter. Okay? Alright. And then we have an 8-ounce can of crushed pineapple. I'm just going to put that right in there. Mix that in just a little bit. And then let's do our vanilla. We need a teaspoon of vanilla. It can be imitation, it can be real. You can even do some vanilla bean if you wanted to. But most of us just have the vanilla extract. Okay. But any of those work. And then, oh, we forgot the cinnamon. Let's do the teaspoon of cinnamon in our dry ingredients. Don't forget it. It really makes a big difference. Okay. Get that in there. Alright, then take your whisk and whisk that in so that it's all evenly through your dried ingredients. You don't have just like a big clump of cinnamon in one area. You don't want that. Okay. Then I'm going to take my spatula out and I'm going to go ahead and use my whisk. And I'm just going to add a little bit, maybe half, and then mix it. So I hope that you're all doing well and that you're keeping up on your exercising and that you are doing really well with keeping up with MyPlate and making sure you get lots of colors during the day and that you're trying to stick to your servings. You know, a couple years back I had a lady come to me and say, you know what, I have been on a new diet. And I said, oh, well, pray tell me what you're doing. And she says, I'm doing what you teach. And I said, what? She says, yeah, I've been dieting off MyPlate. And so she's been doing the servings and everything to the T. And if she gets hungry, she eats a little more vegetables or something like that. And she says, and I've lost weight. So you can do it, and it doesn't cost anything. It's free. And if you go to myplate.gov, they've got a new tracker that goes on your phone. It's a tracker app that's free, and it will help you keep track of how you're doing with the MyPlate servings during the day. So there you go. Free, 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 right? And you get to lose weight too if you need to. Or if you want to. Alright, so I'm going to get all of this so you can see that it's getting thicker with all the dry ingredients. It's more of a cake batter now. Get all those dry ingredients mixed well. Then we're going to add our nuts, and you can use any kind of nut that you want. You can use pecans, walnuts. Those are the traditional ones that are usually used. Or you can use any kind that you like. I like almonds, so I might do that myself. So a half a cup of walnuts is going in. Or if you don't want to do nuts, don't do nuts. And then a half a cup of coconut. And I toasted my coconut beforehand. And again, if you don't want coconut, then don't use it. That's a nice thing about these cakes. It's pretty forgiving on what you want to be using. And then a half a cup of pre-soaked raisins. And what I did was yesterday, I put them in some warm water, the half a cup of raisins, and I let them soak for about 15-20 minutes. And I put them in a little baggie so they'd be ready for today. And they're just nice and plump, and they're not all dried up and chewy. So I like that much better. But if you don't care and you just want to put in the dried, of course, feel free. So this is what this looks like. Isn't that a beautiful batter? Very, very nice. Or 1/4 cup measuring cup, or get a scoop like this. That would work too. And we're going to go ahead and use the 1/4 cup, I think. Get this cleaned up just a tad. All right. Then what we're going to do is, depending on what you want to bake it in, you can do it in a 13x9 pan like this, or you could use the muffin tin like I'm going to today. You can use liners, of course, of any kind that you like, or you could spray. I like doing this better. I just spray each cup, and then I'm going to just put a little bit of flour in these just so that they come out for sure. Or, you know what, there's that new spray that has flour in it already, and I think that is pretty cool. I'm going to have to look at it and see how expensive it is. Alright, and then just move the flour around and then go over to your trash and dump it. That's kind of what that looks like. We might have to do 2 of these. I believe it makes 24, but that's okay. Alright, and then go ahead and get your scoop and do each of your cupcakes, or your 13x9 pan, whichever you would like. And it works out really, really well either way. Or you could do the 9-inch or 8-inch cake pans and make a double-decker, a layered cake. That would work too. You're going to love this cake. It is just forgiving and light and moist and so full of goodness. Which, if we're going to have treats, you might as well make it good for our body, right? And for our families. Once we get that going, all done, we're going to put that in a 375-degree oven. And the cupcakes, I would do about 10-15 minutes. Set your timer for about 10-12 minutes. Take a peek, you know, do a toothpick if you want to, and kind of see if it's where you want it. And then if it's not, then, you know, add another 5 minutes and then check it again and see how that comes. Before we start our frosting, I wanted to show you the handout that we have for you to go with our fruity dessert. And that's step by step how to make a fruit dessert, like a crisp or cobbler type of dessert. And then we've got 2 examples of recipes on the other side. So take a look. It's very simple. 1, 2, easy, right? Okay, so that will be on the handouts, and this also with the frosting recipe will be on there as well. I have my bowl, and 2 tablespoons of butter or margarine. This is margarine, but you can use whatever you would like. Butter, it's got a flavor, a nice flavor to it, but really it's what you have on hand. And then I did the 1/3, we're still using cream cheese frosting, but I did the 1/3 less fat, so that we're being good as far as the fat content in our frosting. 8 ounces of that. And you're going to get those two mixed together first, because we want it creamy. And you could let your butter and your cream cheese out just for a little bit at room temperature. And if you don't have a mixer, you could always do these all by hand and do a whisk. That would work too. We're just going to get that mixed up. It is just nice and creamy, and that's how we want it. So get that all done first. And then I'm going to put some Greek yogurt, non-fat Greek yogurt, 2 tablespoons, just to add and bump that nutrition value up. And the nice thing too is this is going to add a little bit of a tartness to it. So put that next. And if you wanted to use almond extract altogether, or you can just have vanilla, or you can have both, which we're going to do both of. And we're going to do 1/2 teaspoon of the vanilla and 1/8 of a teaspoon of the almond extract. And salt. Just a little bit of salt, not much. About 1/8 of a teaspoon. So almost a pinch. Okay. We're going to do 1 1/4 cups of powdered sugar. And when you're adding your powdered sugar, make sure you start slow, but let's get this mixed in. Add a little bit of lemon juice or zest, and that would give it a little bit more of a sour taste, sweet and sour taste as well. All right, just add a little bit at a time, and then on trusty oatmeal box. I love this thing. I think I use this more than a lot of stuff. It's so handy, especially when you are, by yourself and you're trying to get things done and can't hold it. Okay, so put that in a gallon or a quart size Ziploc, and then put it in your fridge. And then all you have to do is cut the edge, the corner, and then you can just pipe it however much you would like on either your cupcakes or your cake. Pretty easy, right? So just snip it right here. I've just put a little bit of frosting on our cupcake, and that's what it looks like when it comes out. Isn't that pretty? It's gorgeous. And then I've served it with some nuts, just a few, because a serving of nuts is about 7 walnuts. Okay, and then maybe some grapes with it, or you could do raspberries, or even a slice of carrot. That would be awesome to let them know that this is a carrot cake. We're going to talk a little bit about the dietary guidelines, and those are the guidelines for Americans, and they're updated every 5 years, and by the nation's top health advisors and nutrition experts, helping with adults and children over the age of 2 to have guidelines set on how their eating habits every day should look like. And this guidelines that we have are on the 2016 or 15 dietary guidelines. So they'll be changing them pretty soon again. I wonder if they'll be a little late because of the pandemic, but we'll have to watch and see. Knowing the MyPlate helps it at a glance get you where you need to be each and every day and throughout your life. And focusing on a variety of colors, like, using these colors as an example, just as a reminder, so that we get lots of different nutrients and vitamins. limiting our calories, and that's what the serving sizes do. It basically is taking care of the calorie counting basically for you and your family, and helping with those added sugars, saturated fats, trans fats, and reducing our sodium intake too, and just using a little bit less. You know, if you do like a half hour, 15 minutes to a half hour of exercise 5 days a week, it all adds up. Well, the same thing happens with our food intake. If we want less sodium, just take a smidge out, an eighth of a teaspoon. Or if you want to take a fourth of a cup to a half a cup of sugar out of something, it works out rather well. You'd be surprised how much we really don't need as much sugar as we think we do. And then trans fat, trying to use cream cheese that has less fat, or non-fat yogurt, or making our milk a little bit less in percentage. Wherever you want to cut it is what you should be doing for you and your family. What's important for all ages, not just adults, and following the MyPlate ensures that you are eating well and that you will feel and be your best. And that's really, really important. We talked about your milk and your dairy and making it less fat in those items as well. All right, and then our protein, we want to opt for things like beans and lean meats and eggs and nuts and seeds and seafood, and making sure to have some type of fish once or twice a week is a really good idea if you can. And then limit the amount of your saturated and trans fats and sugar and sodium. Those are all really important. And then we've talked over about exercise and how important it is that we stay active. So not only should we be eating healthy and so that we can be our best, but exercise helps us do that too. And it's important that we have 2 hours and 30 minutes every week as adults. And you can break that up however you want to do it. And yes, housework and yard work and all of those count. And I want to thank all of you who have called or commented or turned in surveys. It has meant a great deal to me and to the Create Better Health SNAP Ed program. We truly do appreciate you, our community. And I'm back in the office. If you need something, give us a call. And hopefully you'll be seeing some classes that will catch your eye. And we will see you every so often. Maybe we'll do a video here and there. And that will be fun. And it won't be as consistent as we have been every week. So, thank you very much. And for the last time, from my home to yours, this is Larry Bates.